Hi everyone, I'm Leslie Krongold, the support group facilitator for the MDF group in Northern California, and I'm very excited to introduce Rachel Kahn to my patient community. I hope you enjoy this session. You're welcome to attend an additional sponsored class with Rachel on October 2nd at 2 p.m. Pacific time. You can find out more about this class when you visit Rachel in the exhibitor hall booth, her booth, today between 4 and 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Hi, welcome everybody. Leslie, thank you for the kind intro. My name is Rachel Kahn, and I'll be taking you through this class of strength training, of core strength training, and then of some spinal and joint mobility. We'll incorporate some balance, a little bit of visual work to help with the balance, and we'll also be doing some body scan breath work to start and to finish with. So just to start out, I just encourage everybody to do a big circle around them with your arms, just to make sure that whether you're seated or standing, so this class can be done seated or standing, you make sure that you've got enough room around you. You're not going to knock over glasses of water, cats, dogs, any of those things. And then I also want to encourage you throughout this class to really try to stay with your body as much as you can, to not worry about any other folks in the class, and just to keep in mind that I care more about your alignment and your form as we're moving through these exercises than I do about how fast you're going or how much weight you might be lifting. So form and alignment is always gonna be the most important thing here. And then just another safety thing, just making sure that if you feel like you're fatiguing or you're running out of breath, I really strongly encourage you to move at your own pace here. Listen to your body, do what's right for your body. If that means that you're cutting back or you're taking a break earlier than maybe I might be taking a break, please do that. I think that's it safety-wise. And then the only equipment that you're gonna need for today's class are a set of weights. I've got my handy-dandy suit boxes because they're about the right weight for me for some of this work. And then an elastic band of some sort. This doesn't have to be, you don't have to have this equipment if it's not available to you. These are just kind of add-ons. You can do all of these movements without weight. I also encourage for folks who might have some grip, finger, wrist strength issues, that if holding weights or holding a band is a little too much, but you're still able to hold on to something, sometimes a rolled up pair of socks and or a tennis ball of some sort is really helpful for your brain to know where your hand is in time and space. So it gives you a little bit of biofeedback to the brain and to the spinal cord. So just other options for people. So I'll be teaching a seated and a standing class. So you're gonna have to bear with me today as I'm shifting back and forth between the different progressions of various exercises. And again, please choose what's right for you and move at your own pace. Alrighty, so let's get going. So I'm gonna be doing most of this class from a seated position, but again, I'll be showing the standing variations here. So I'll have you come to a nice, relaxed, seated or standing position. And I just want you to start, hands can be on your lap. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just drop into your body. And I want you to first sense where your breath is. So without judging where your breath is, I want you to notice if you're breathing out of your neck. Are you breathing out of your chest? Or are you breathing into your low belly? And if it helps, you can even put one hand on the chest and one hand on the low belly. And I want you to invite that breath to go a little bit deeper into your body. This doesn't necessarily mean you're taking a bigger breath. It just means you're trying to draw that breath all the way down into your low belly without expanding your chest or your neck. So with each inhale, that low belly will go away from you. And with each exhale, that belly will drift back in. And I just want you to stay with that. With the inhale, the belly goes away. Then with the exhale, the belly comes back in. And then I want you to take an inventory of how your body is feeling right now. So what in your body feels a little sticky? Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe you're holding tension in your cheeks, maybe it's your hips. What in your body feels good to you right now? So what feels like it's loose and warm? And what parts of your body are quiet? What parts aren't really talking to you very much? So just taking note of all of that. Lastly, I want you to set your intention for class today. So that can be a small or big goal of any sort. It could be as simple as staying focused on your own body, or it could be focused on a different part of your body. But just setting an intention of some sort. Then take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open your eyes. Alrighty. We're going to start with some sensory input work here, so we're going to help wake the body up. So taking your hands or your knuckles, I want you to give yourself a really amazing head scratch. So you can trace the outline of your hair or not. You can get the center of your scalp, the top, and if there's a sensitive spot, maybe spend a little bit of time on it. Covering every inch of your head. And I want you to relax and just notice. Notice what changed for you. Hopefully there's a nice buzz around your scalp. So we're just waking up the senses, trying to stimulate some nerves in that area. And then I want you to grab your ears, stimulating another cranial nerve in this area. And I want you to move your ears in really gentle circles. So I'm grabbing kind of the bottom part of my ears. You're just tensioning the ears in a full circle. So again, this is gentle. This is not anything too aggressive here. Switch directions with those ear circles. And then release the ears. And again, maybe just notice. Did anything change for you? Okay, good. I want you to bring, I like to use my knuckles. You can bring your palms to your face also. And I just want you to give your jawline a little bit of a rub. So I'm rubbing from my cheekbones down to my jaw. Maybe I'm moving my hands in a circle to just wake my cheeks up. Pause for a sec. Give me the biggest smile you possibly can. Show me all of your teeth. Don't worry, no one's looking. And then give another rub. Let your jaw go slack here. Pause, give me a really cheesy smile. Try to engage all of those cheek muscles. One more time each time. Rub the face, rub the jaw. Last cheesy smile I'll have you do. Good, and then relax, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna come into some body tapping here. So again, this is just to become more aware of our body parts before we move them so that you can move more efficiently. So fingertips are going to come to this area right underneath the collarbones, and you're just lightly tapping your chest. I'm going to bring some breath work into this, so we're going to slightly multitask here. So I want you to find a hum. Okay, so lips are closed. We're just nasal breathing if that's accessible for you right now. So I want you to inhale through the nose, and then exhale, hum. You can hum a song, you can hum a note, but whatever you're doing, find a hum. When you come to the end of that hum, take an inhale through just your nose and go again. We're going to do this 3 times. When you get to the end, inhale through your nose. This is the last hum. I want you to open your hands now as you pat your chest. Last hum. and relax. Good. Bring the hands down. Again, just notice if anything feels different. We're activating a few things here to help you drop into your more relaxed nervous system. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more grounded and more relaxed here. All right. So I'm going to have you find this is what I call body tapping. And I want you to tap the top of your shoulder. You can do whichever shoulder you want. We'll do both sides. You're going to be tapping down the inside of your arm. We do this because we're following the meridians, all the way down to your hand. Flip the hand over and then tap up the outside of your arm. Palm up. Tap down the inside of your arm, down towards your hand. Palm down. Tap up the outside of your arm. So back of the forearm, your triceps up to your shoulder. We're going to do that one more time through, tapping down the inside, and then up the outside. And again, pause. Okay. What difference do you feel between the two sides? Hopefully this is a pretty obvious difference. And again, just showing you how important self-touch and self-awareness is. Let's make it our body even. So going to the other side, tapping down the inside of the arm, all the way to the hand, flipped palm down and up the outside of the arm. I want you to do this 2 more times. And I'm just going to give you one more tip here. So I'm going to be mirroring your movements today on Zoom, on your Zoom screen. So if that is confusing you at all, for example, when I say right, I'm referring to your right arm, even if I'm moving my left arm, okay? So again, we'll just be mirroring each other on Zoom to make it easy, okay? So we're hopefully a little bit more even now, just noticing that that should be a little bit more aligned. Both hands are going to come to the stomach. We're going to rub the stomach in a clockwise direction. This is aiding with digestion. Again, this isn't too aggressive. This is very gentle here. You might notice you have some sticky spots. You can pause, breathe into a sticky spot if you have it. Otherwise, we're just rubbing. Good. Going to have you slightly lean forward and just find a light tapping. I'm just using my fingers. You can use the back of your knuckles if you'd like. To your low back. This is where your kidneys sit. So we're just giving the kidneys a little bit of love here. Again, this is gentle. Find your belly breath as you do this. And then relax. And again, noticing any difference here. Okay, last little bit of body tapping. This time we're going to do both sides just to pick up the pace. I'm going to have you tap down the outsides of your legs, all the way down to the feet, and then up the insides of your legs. From the arch of the foot, all the way up to the insides of the legs. We're going to do this 3 times. Tap down the outsides of the legs. And I always forget to say this, but I encourage you, if it's safe and if it's accessible to you, I encourage you to take your socks and shoes off for this class so your feet can feel the floor. Not mandatory, just an option if that is safe for you. All right, that was my 3rd time. Again, just sitting and noticing any difference there from the beginning of class. Okay, so let's work a little bit on joint mobility here. So we're going to spread the fingers wide. If we're able to, bring the arms up overhead. You can also do this from a standing position. So seated or standing, these are going to look the exact same. And you're going to take a nice articulating roll down as low to the ground as you can. Touch the floor if you're able to. Inhale at the bottom, and then exhale, articulate that spine to come back up. Yeah. When you come up to the top, pause, look up at the ceiling, flex your hands back, and lift your chest up towards the sky. So we're finding that nice spinal extension. And then exhale to find that same dive forward, as low to the ground as you can. Inhale at the bottom and exhale, roll up. Lift your chest and your head to the sky at the top. And again, exhale to roll forward, diving forward. Inhale at the bottom and exhale to roll up. We're just gonna do two more, but we're gonna add a rotation. So I want you to rotate to the left, just partially. Now find that same roll down all the way forward. You should feel a really nice stretch now through your right ribs. I want you to breathe into those right ribs. And then on your next exhale, roll yourself back up. Arms are still overhead. Rotate to the right. Remember, I'm mirroring you. Diving up and over. Breathing into your left rib cage now. Just hold that for a couple seconds. And then bringing yourself all the way back up to the center. Good. Arms come down out by your side. Let's keep palms facing down. I'm going to have you start by turning just your head to the right. And I want your whole body to rotate to the right. Arms come with you. Pause right there. I want your eyes to go as far to the right as you can. I just realized I screwed my right to my left up. As far to the right as you can. I want you to almost feel like your eyes are straining and then come all the way back to the center. Yes. Head goes to the left. Body goes to the left. As you rotate, I want your eyes to go as far to the left as you possibly can now. What's the farthest thing you can see to the left and come back to the center? Let's do one more time each side. Rotating to the right, head and neck and body, eyes go with you. Can you see a little bit further this time maybe? On your back wall or something like that. Come back to the center, rotating left, head, neck, and spine. Can you get a little bit farther this time? And back to the center. Good. Arms come down. Whether you're seated or standing, I just want you to shake out your arms. If you're standing, you can shake out your legs. Yeah, alrighty. Good. We're going to come to some side bending. So right arm reaches up towards the sky. And I want you to pretend like you've got a really excited question. So you're saying, teacher, pick me, pick me, pick me. So reaching that hand up high. And then start to bring that into a side bend up and over. Again, can you breathe into those open ribs there? Yep, and back to the center, switching sides. Left arm up. Say, teacher, pick me, get that arm up high. Side bend over. Breathe into these open ribs. And center. Yep, left arm up. Reach and side bend. Inhale. And exhale, center. Left arm up. Reach, side bend. Inhale into those ribs and back to the center. Awesome. We're going to do one more spinal movement here. This is what we call rib translation. So arms are going to come out at your side again. Yes, we're using the arms a lot today. Stay with me. We're going to translate the ribs to the left. Okay. What this means is that your shoulders and your rib cage stay parallel to the floor. And then we're going to translate the other way. And then back to the center. So as you translate side to side, careful that you're not coming into a side bend. We're translating. This is a really small movement. Your ribs are gliding one way, your ribs are gliding the other way. The cue I use here, the visual that pops into my head, is kind of like a seaweed floating at the bottom of an ocean. And it's just gliding from left to right. Yeah, this is really good for our organs, and it's really good for our torso. And coming back to the center. Let's shake out the arms again. Yeah, and let's come a little bit more to our joints. Okay, so we're going to start with our shoulders there. We'll work our way all the way down for those of you that are standing athletes or have movement in your legs. So both arms are going to come up to the sky. Yep. And I just want you to do a few shrugs here. So shrugging the shoulders up and then shrugging the shoulders down. The arms don't move too much. This is just coming from your shoulder blades. Inhale to shrug up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Do one more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Bring the arms in front of you. Give me that stop sign signal so wrists are pulled back. Okay. I want you to pretend like you're pushing something really heavy in front of you. So push your hands towards me Round your upper spine forward, bury your head between your arms, and then pull everything back, sit tall. So lifting your chest and your heart forward, and I want you to pinch those shoulder blades together. Push that heavy object away from you, and pull everything back in. Okay, let's bring the breath into this. Inhale to push away, and exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, push the shoulder blades away. Exhale together. We're doing one more. Inhale away, and exhale together. Let the arms down and relax. Okay, so I forgot to mention having, actually let's see, well, you could grab anything. If you have a pencil, it can be a dime, a pencil, it could be one of your TheraBands or whatnot. But I just want to give you something that's a little bit more task-oriented. Actually, I think this one is really fun. Okay, so we're still working on shoulder mobility here. So I'm just holding a pencil on my palm. So I want you to bring that pencil, so let's start maybe with your left hand here. We'll bring that pencil underneath, and I'm trying to keep that pencil from rolling off. I'm going to extend my arm out, bring that arm in front of me, circle it around, and back to the start. Don't worry if you lost me, we're going to keep doing this. The idea is to get that shoulder moving. There's really no wrong way to do this. Bring that pencil underneath your armpit, extend the arm out. Bring that arm in front of you, circle it around your head so your palm stays facing up the whole time. Yeah, if you have the rhythm of this, you can pick up the pace. Otherwise, you can just stay with me. Bringing that pencil all the way around and back to the front. Under the armpit, extend, reach forward, circle, keep that palm up, and back to the beginning. We do one more on this side. Under the armpit, extend, reach in front, circle, and back to the front. Yeah, awesome. Let's switch sides. So holding that object. Under the armpit, extend, reach in front, circle, ooh, the side's harder for me, and back to the center. Awesome. Under the armpit, extend, reach in front, bring it around, palm stays up the whole time. Armpit, extend, reach in front, circle, and front. Last time. Armpit around, circle, and in front. We're moving the wrist, we're moving the elbow, and we're moving the shoulder. Great. You can go ahead and put that pencil down. And we're going to come a little bit to lower body here. So for those of you that have movement in your legs, let me adjust my camera. You're going to be doing this with your legs. I'm going to show you the seated version first, and then the standing version. For those of you who don't have movement in your legs, I'm going to be showing you alternatives that you can do with your wrists. Okay, so seated out in front of, with your feet out in front of you, I just want you to start by lifting not your toes off of the ground, although if that's all you can manage, that's totally fine. But I want you to try to lift the balls of your feet off of the ground, okay? So we're just starting with toe raises. If you're standing, you're doing the same thing. If you're a seated athlete and you don't have movement in your legs, I want you to do this movement with your wrists where you're pulling your hands back, okay? So you just have a few options. Yeah, if you'd like to stand, you can definitely stand. Pulling the toes up. In fact, if you want to do two things at once, you could do toes and wrists. Yeah, this is really good for your wrist extensors here. So just showing you multiple options, or you can do this standing. Okay. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching it up. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit more under me. You might need to do the same. You're going to push your balls of the feet into the ground, lifting your heels now. Okay. As a side note, notice that my ankles aren't sickling out to the side. Push through your big toes so we keep what we call neutral ankles, okay? Where my ankles stay nicely aligned with my knees and my hips. Again, if you're standing, you'll be doing the same thing. If you're feeling really adventurous, Ooh, you can even do this single leg, okay? If seated, if you want more weight on your feet, you can lean forward to make it a little bit harder. For my seated athletes who don't have movement in your legs, you're going to be doing the opposite motion with your wrists. And if you're feeling really wild today, you can do all of the things at once. Yeah. Finding that big toe push off. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Bring the feet back down. So I want you to find what we call inversion and eversion. I'm not doing a great job of this right now. My ankles are a little on the stiff side, but I want you rolling your ankles in and out. So you're thinking of almost trying to touch these ankle bones to the floor and then lifting your arches off of the floor. Rolling the feet in, rolling the feet out. It's okay if your knees move, but I want this movement to be initiated from your ankle joints, okay? If for those of you that are standing, you're doing the same thing. For my seated athletes, I want you doing this rolling of your wrists, palms down, palms up. And if you really want to get fancy, you can do lower and upper body together. This also tests your coordination, so this is good for your brain. Let's do 2 more. And last one, and relax. Great. Working a little bit more on hip internal and external rotation. So for my seated athletes, we're going to turn. So I'm lifting my heels and I'm turning so my hips are in. My hips are kissing each other. And then I'm going to turn the opposite way. Heels together, knees apart. Knees in, knees apart. And I want this to be active. That might mean you have to scoot forward on your chair, or you might have to readjust your feet. If you're a standing athlete, you're doing the same thing. Your knees are just going to be straight. Heels together, hips are out. This is external rotation. This is internal rotation. External and internal. For my seated athletes, we're going to be bringing the full shoulder roll into this. Yeah, and we can do these together as well. This is internal rotation of the shoulder and the hips. This is external rotation of the shoulder and the hips. And you're just rolling back and forth. Yeah. We're hitting all of the joints today, giving you a really thorough warm-up. Great. Okay, go ahead and relax. Actually, you know what? I'll leave this on here. So if you're able to, I want you to bend over, and I want you to rub your feet. I know this might sound funny. Let's see, can you see my feet? Yes. I know this might sound funny, but just like we talked about waking up the rest of your body, and I want you to maybe wiggle each toe. So as if you were twisting a bottle cap, you can grab the pinkies and twist the pinkies 3 or 4 times as if you were twisting on and off the bottle cap of the beverage. Then you're going to the 4th toes, and then the 3rd toes, and you're working your way to the big toe. For those of you who don't have access to that, you're going to be doing the same thing on the hands, okay? If you can, stay with your feet, working your way all the way to the big toe, waking up the toes and the feet. Remember, our feet and our hands are 2 of the biggest sensory organs of our body. Our lips are as well, but we're not going to experiment with the lips today. Okay, coming to the hands, I want you to give your hands a rub. This is the last thing we'll do before we really pick up the pace for this class. So give your hands a rub. And then we're going to find that same bottle cap twisting. We're going to start with thumb, going back and forth, working your way down all the way to the pinky, just doing maybe 3 or 4 twists on each side. Yeah. Getting all of the joints here moving. We also have a lot of meridians that begin and end in our fingers, so this is beneficial for getting all of that moving as well. Okay, so I'm going to scoot in here and hope, there we go. You can focus in on the screen. So we're coming to the strength circuit here. And we're just gonna do a 10-minute circuit for this. So there's 5 exercises. We're gonna do each exercise for 1 minute, and I've got my stopwatch ready. We're gonna do a run-through practice round of these 5 exercises. And then we're gonna do the full 10 minutes just straight through, okay? So I'm gonna give you different variations. The blue is if you're a seated athlete. The red is if you're a standing athlete. And then there's variations within each of these. It's hard to fit it on the whiteboard. Okay, so starting with our curl to press. So I'm gonna grab my weights and my bands. So for my seated athletes, palms are facing in, you're in a seated position. So when you're in a seated position, especially for the strength training work, I want your hips, I want you directly stacked on top of your sit bones. If you're like, where are my sit bones? I don't know what you're talking about. I just want you to thinking about sitting nice and tall through the crown of your head, okay? So your pelvis isn't tilted back, it's stacked tall. Back is flat here, weights are down at your side, yeah. Making sure that you're not holding your shoulders up top. Okay, so let those shoulders be down and back. You're gonna curl the weights. Let's keep palms facing in. You're gonna curl the weights up into a bicep curl, press overhead, bring the weights down, and then lower back down. Yep, that's all it is. So it's a curl to an overhead press, bringing the weights all the way back down. Okay, now, for my standing athletes, and you can choose to do this maybe for one of the sets if you don't want to do it for all of the sets, but you're going to be doing a squat to curl. Back up a little bit more here. Okay, so weights are down at your side. You lower down into a squat. You stand, bicep curl, press overhead. Weights come all the way back down. Squat, get those hips behind you, so your knees don't go too far over your toes. To stand, to curl, to press overhead, okay? And you would go through that. If you'd like to have that seat underneath you, you can also do this, and you can stand up off of your seat for the overhead press. So you've got, yeah, there we go. So you've got various options there for that. Okay, so that is your curl to overhead press. Second exercise is going to be a bicycle. So this is going to be a seated or a standing bicycle here. The lighting is changing, so having the sun shine on my feet. Okay, so hands are going to be behind the head. If you're able to put your hands behind the head, otherwise don't worry about it. We're going to lift your left knee, okay? I want your left toes to be lifted also. This is important if you're able to do that. Lift your left toes, and you're going to try to reach your right elbow to that knee. So opposite knee to elbow, everything comes back to the center. Other knee lifts, opposite elbow to knee, everything back to center, okay? So you're doing this seated bicycle back and forth. Let your spine round here, and you're trying to connect your 2 opposite sides of the body. Yeah, I want you to keep practicing as I give you different variations here. If you're a standing athlete, you're doing the same thing. You're just having to find a little bit of balance in between each one. I'm still pulling my toes up, and I'm still aiming my elbow for my opposite knee. If you're a seated athlete and you do not have movement in your legs, last and final option here, you can do a rotating bicycle here. You're just doing it without the leg movements. Okay, so that's always an option for you. And then lastly, if maybe putting your hands overhead is too much, we can cross the arms over the chest. So if there's any shoulder issues or you find you're compensating, just cross the shoulders over the chest. Yeah. Okay, great. Third exercise is going to be punches. This is going to look very similar for my seated and my standing athletes. So hands are in fists. We're going for speed here, so no weights for this one. And you're punching, alternating your arms back and forth as quick as you can. You can pretend somebody's holding a target in front of you, You can orient yourself so maybe you have a pillow in front of you for a target, but otherwise you're just going as quick as you can, rotating with the fists. I recommend thumbs on the outside of the fingers here, just for a more natural movement with that rotation. For my standing athletes, same thing, but you'll be able to drive, let's see, can you see me? You'll be able to drive a little bit more of that power from your hips as you rotate your body back and forth. Okay. Fourth exercise, we're almost there, everybody, bear with me. Reverse flies. Wait, did I read that right? I'm sorry, push-ups. Back up. Okay, so for my seated athletes, if we don't want to get on the floor, you're going to be holding a weight in front of you. If one weight isn't enough, you can always grab 2 weights. Okay, so it's up to you here. I'm just going to show you with 1 weight because I'm already out of breath. Okay, so holding the weight into your chest, you would push that weight away from you. It stays at chest level and then pull it back in. Okay, the key here is that as that weight pushes away from you, you don't let your spine collapse. Okay, so the tendency might be something that looks like this, where the spine collapses. I want you to stay seated nice and tall as that weight comes in and out. For my standing athletes and or my floor athletes, feel free to come all the way down to the ground and do what we call kind of a more standard push-up. So that can be a push-up from a quadruped position, like this, from a kneeling position where my hips are more forward, or it can be all the way from your hands and from your feet where you're doing the full foot and hand push-up. Let me adjust that again. Great. Okay, everyone. Fifth and final exercise here, and then we'll really get into the meat here. So grabbing your resistance band if you have one. If you don't have one, you can use your weights. Grab a sip of water. If you don't have weights, don't worry about it. To be honest, when I do flies, I don't even use weights. So you do not have to have the equipment if it's not available to you. So holding it at about shoulder distance apart. If you're a seated athlete, you're going to lean forward, pulling the band so it comes across your chest and then comes back to the center, okay? The key here, so my pelvis is lifted, my back is flat, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. Careful not to throw your head back. You're gonna inhale to pull and exhale back to center. Don't let the band snap your hands back. Make it a full controlled movement the whole time. For my standing athletes, feet hip distance apart, toes are forward. Hinge forward into a hip hinge position. My knees are just slightly bent here. I'm doing the same movement. I'm just holding myself up a little bit more in that standing position. Okay, are we ready? We've got 10 minutes on the clock. You're doing a minute for each of these, so it's just 2 rounds through. I'll be showing you the first round, what seated athletes are doing, the second round, what standing athletes are doing, so you can kind of pick your poison and go for it. Okay, let me get my handy dandy stopwatch ready. So we are starting with curl to overhead press or squat to overhead press. Get your weight, get ready, move at your own pace. Remember, I care more about your form. On your marks, get set, go. All right, everyone, move at your own pace. You've got 1 minute of curl to overhead press. You're being mindful that you're not letting gravity take the weights down. You're controlling the weights. You're halfway in. Yeah. Try to straighten those elbows overhead if you can. 15 seconds. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and drop your weights. No rest for the weary here. Hands behind your head, and we'll go right into bicycle. Remember, if hands behind your head is not suitable for you for any reason, you can cross the hands over the chest. Find an easy breath here, maybe inhaling for a stroke and then exhaling for a stroke. You're halfway. Remember to pull those toes up. Pull those toes. Yeah, great work, everyone. You've got about 5 seconds left. And relax. What's next? Punches. All right. Here we go, coming right into it. Alternating back and forth, right, left, right, left. If you're standing, use that power from your hips. If you're sitting, use that power from your core and your obliques. All right, everyone, you're about halfway in. About 15 seconds to go. If your body lets you, can you go faster? 5, 4, there we go. 3, 2, and 1, and relax. Grab one or both of your weights, or you're getting on the floor for your push-ups. Ready, go. Pushing that weight directly out in front of you, but staying tall the whole time you do it. And maybe this first round you're feeling it out. Maybe this first round you did one weight, and maybe the next round you can do 2 weights, or maybe vice versa. So listen to your body. What can you sustain for 1 minute? You're halfway in. About 15 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Yes. You can grab the band or the weights. We're coming into flies. Ready, go. So if you're seated, leaning forward, find a good resistance. You might have to play with your hand placement on that band to make it sustainable for a whole minute. Yep. You keep your head aligned with your spine here. You're halfway in. "15 seconds to go." Woo-wee. Picked a heavy band for this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're back to curl to overhead press. Grab your weights. Go right into it. I'm going to show you the standing version now for my standing athletes. Find a good pace. Find a consistent breath. Notice if you're holding your breath. That's a tendency, especially as the body starts to tire. You're over halfway, everyone. About 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. We're moving into bicycle. Yes. All right, here we go. Ready, go. You have 4 minutes left in the circuit. 4 minutes left. Pull up those toes. Keep that head with your spine. You're halfway in. Keep going, everyone. We got it. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Are we going to push-ups? Yes. Oh no, punches. I'm sorry, punches. Ready, go. Last 3 minutes, everyone. Last 3 minutes. Yeah. When the elbows come back into the body, try to keep the elbows close to the body. So no chicken wings up here. Keep those elbows close. Yeah, there we go. Over halfway. You just have 2 more minutes after this one. You're almost there. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Last 2 minutes, everyone. We're going to push-ups. Ready, go. Pace yourself here. Really make sure that your form is okay. If that means you need to slow down, that's fine. If that means you can pick up the pace, then awesome. You're halfway in. Ten seconds, everyone. Keep it up. You're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. Final minute. Reverse flies. Ready, go. Yep, halfway in. Good work, everybody. You're almost there. This is the last 30 seconds of the circuit. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Awesome. Really, really good. Go ahead and take a quick break, grab some water. You won't need the equipment, so you can push that off to the side. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I wish I were live with you in person, but I'm hoping that went well for most, if not all of you. So after you've grabbed some water, set your equipment down, and then we'll jump into a cool down. All right, so I'll have you come back to a seated or standing position. We're gonna incorporate a little bit more balance work. into the cool down, and then we'll really start to slow it down. Okay, so balance incorporates a lot of things. It works with your visual system, which is your eyes. It works with your vestibular system, which is a unit in your inner ear. And it works with your musculoskeletal system. So we're going to play a little bit with the visual and the vestibular system. So I'm just going to have you cross the hands on the chest. Yeah, this is for, let's go for my seated and my standing athletes. We're all going to do the same thing here. And I want your eyes, so I'm going to show you this one first before I have you jump into it. I want your eyes and your head and your neck to follow and to draw a big circle around you. So my eyes are moving where I move. Okay. Before you do this, if you have any vestibular, dizzy, vertigo issues, just kind of a word of caution with this, because this can cause dizziness. Remember, dizziness isn't bad. We just want to say hi to that edge, and then we don't want to go too far past it. So I'm going to encourage you to do, I'm just going to have you start with 3 circles in each direction. You're going to pause after each direction, assess how dizzy you are, and then you'll move in the other direction. Start slow and start with multiple pauses. If you get dizzy at any point, stop. You can close your eyes, you can breathe, you can grab a sip of water. Okay? If that feels easy for you, feel free to pick up the pace or pick up your range of motion with how big you're drawing that circle around your body. Okay, so when you're ready, 3 circles in each direction, go for it. Move at your own pace though. Make sure you stop and assess after one direction. And if you feel okay, we'll go in the other direction. Keep your head with your spine so we're not throwing your head around. Yep. And when you've done those 3 or 3+ in each direction, come back to the center. Okay, good. Go ahead and take a break for a sec. We're going to move just your head now. So I want you to look up at the ceiling. I don't want you to throw your head back, but just a subtle look up. And I want your eyes to go as far back on that ceiling as you can. Then I want you to look down at your belly button. Try to tuck your chin into your throat as much as you can. Eyes lead, looking up. Head follows. Eyes lead, looking down. Head follows. Eyes lead, looking up. Head follows. Eyes lead, head down. Come back to the center, okay? Just the eyes go to your right. Then turn your head to the right. Release any extra tension you're holding in your shoulders. Bring everything back to the center. Just the eyes to the left. Just the head to the left. I'm sorry, I'm realizing I'm not mirroring you, so my bad. Come back to the center. I'll mirror you now. Eyes to the left, or sorry, eyes to the right. Head to the right. Back to the center. Eyes left, head left, and back to the center. Okay. For my seated athletes, we're gonna work on some balancing on your sit bones, okay? For my standing athletes, you're gonna be standing and you could be holding on to a counter or a door frame, and we're gonna be doing some balancing more with single leg. Okay, so for my seated athletes, I want you to tip, being careful here, so if you need a wall next to you or a door frame, that might be a safer place to do that. And if you're able to lift the side, your leg and your foot that you're leaning away from, do that. Find that balancing point, slowly come back to the center. Tipping the other direction, lift that opposite leg and foot. Find that balancing on that sit bone and with your torso. Make sure safety-wise you're covered. And then back to the center. Yep, I'm gonna show you what a standing athlete might look like. Shifting onto one leg. My seated athletes, I still want you leaning with me. And then back to the center. And shifting the other way. and back to the center. I'm going to make this harder. You can take it or leave it, okay? I want you to shift one way. We can all shift maybe to the left. Picking up that foot. Now hold. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. Look up at the ceiling. Look down at the floor. Come back to the center. Whole body comes back to the center. Yep. Shifting on to your right. Hold. Ooh. Look to your right. Look to your left. Look up at the ceiling. Look down at the floor. Come back to the center. Awesome. One more time each side. Shifting left. This time, I want you to roll your head around in a circle. 2 circles each direction. Really testing your balance here. Once you've done 2 in each direction, body comes back to the center. If you are dizzy, slow down, back off, okay? Last time, shifting onto your right, roll your head in 2 circles. That might be a really small circle, okay? If you find you're getting dizzy, make it a really small circle with your head, or stop. Bring your whole body back to the center and relax. Awesome. All right, really nice work, everybody. We'll just do a quick cool down here. So spreading the fingers, arms comes overhead. Take a nice dive forward. I want you to pause at the bottom. Inhale into the back of the ribs. And then exhale to come back up. Circle the arms back around behind you. Interlace the fingers. Lift your chest towards the sky. If you can't interlace your fingers, no worries. Just reach your arms back and look up. Release the hands, arms come overhead. Dive forward. Pause at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale. Reverse that dive. Hands come behind you. Interlace. Lift your chest forward. We have one more. Open the arms, lift overhead. Diving forward. Inhale. And then exhale, rolling back up. Last time, hands come behind you, lifting that chest forward. Great. Go ahead and give the arms, give the legs a shake if you're standing. Great. We'll settle the feet down. We'll close the eyes. We'll drop back into our breath. You can put one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest if you'd like. You're going to invite that breath a little bit lower. Try to bring that breath into your low belly. No worries if it can't get there. And then we're going to take inventory again. So what parts of your body still feel tense compared to the beginning of class? What parts of your body feel a little bit looser, a little bit more warmed up? And what parts of your body have you noticed a change in? I want you to think of one thing that you're grateful for today. Take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. I hope you have a lovely rest of your conference. Again, I'm so bummed I couldn't be with you in person, but hopefully more to come. Again, my name is Rachel Kahn, and I hope to see you all soon.